Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Barton Power Sports, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Best Care Home Services.
All right, man, I cannot believe how fast.
Hour and a half.
I love
radio.
open mic Saturdays. It's and we give you a chance to call. You may want to call this next guest, 274-7979, because we're going to talk fishing with Michael Clark. I just came back, as I told you, from the Tennessee Outdoor Writers conference up at Paris Landing State Park, and Michael, I don't know what you were prepared for a bunch of us geezers up there and everything, but great job on explaining a lot of things. And first of all, good morning. Thanks for being with us. Talking to you and seeing you in 2 weeks. That's a rarity for me. So, but I'm glad Dave was able to hook up. And
give Michael a little intro. Michael is, for years was kind of head of our stream survey crew, but
yep.
When people retire and people bump up, when Tim Broadbent, who was head of our reservoir crew,
and now he
took over Dave Rizzuto's slot when Dave retired, Michael was selected to come up and to head the reservoir crew. So he's out there on the big water now.
Yeah, and he inherited the carp dial fear,
and
that's
when you talked about it, I said, well, a good segment. It's kind of unique.
Yeah,
tell us something like that to happen. So.
Yeah, let us know a little bit. And you gave, like I said, a great presentation to us. I'm going to try to write something about it. Is it still going? Are we having, or is it slowed down? And tell our listeners a little bit about Kentucky Lake and the carp die-off. You told us it was mostly 2-year-old fish, but how's it? As of today? Are they still having this problem? Or I don't think it's a problem. It's a blessing in a way. So. Tell our listeners.
In a way, it is a blessing, absolutely. We are still currently experiencing some die-offs. It's not as rapid as it was a couple of weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
But, yes, we are still seeing fresh fish dying almost on a daily basis still. So.
And these fish are acting crazy. The way my friend, we just had John Sloan, he called in earlier. I wish I'd asked him because he was out fishing, and these fish would actually bump into each other. They were fishing they were swimming erratically. They were beaching themselves. So we don't really know what's going on, do we?
Well, we know more than we did when it first started, that's for sure.
Okay.
Our fish crew, along with the fish crew with the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife, sort of teamed up, and they collected some fish that were in the process of dying. And so did we, and we sent them fresh specimens to Warm Springs, Georgia, where the U.S. Fish and Wildlife has a lab down there. Their guys analyzed those fish, looked at their stomach contents and their fat reserves, tried to grow some bacteria cultures from their brain and kidney and spleen and stuff. And we have had the results sent back to us on that.
Okay. So what's the deal?
Well, basically, they were able to find no fat reserves in their system. And when they went to their intestines and their stomach contents, they found little to no food in there as well.
So they were just starving to death.
Basically, they were starving to death.
Wow.
In the cultures that they grew to see if there was any bacteria present, the only bacteria that was found was a very, very common environmental bacteria that is in the water, has been in the water for years, and in no way, shape, or form affects the consumption of any fish or anything like that. It's called Aramonius hydrophilia.
Yes, you mentioned that.
Yes.
And I've been trying to pronounce that. Aramonius hydrophilia.
Yes, sir.
That sounds like something out of a novel, but what it can, Frank's applauded me because I pronounced it right. Okay.
Good.
I can do that. But do we have any idea How many fish have died? Some kind of number? Do you got any kind of idea?
No, really, the only word that we're using right now is just thousands.
Thousands. Okay.
Yeah,
thousands.
We don't really know because basically on Kentucky Lake, we saw the die-off as far south in the reservoir as far as Beach River.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
I didn't really.
Not nearing the numbers that we saw around the Big Sandy area and Paris Landing area. And Kentucky, they seem to have seen a few more than we actually had. And, of course, it also happened on Barkley Reservoir as well.
Oh, it did? Okay.
Yes, sir.
I didn't realize. Again, we're talking to Michael Clark, out of the Region 1 office, a fisheries biologist, inherited this thing called the carp situation, so to speak. And I know the first time I experienced that, I was with Frank Barton in a jet boat on the Mississippi River, and he took me back up into a cove in Frank's once upon a time jet boat, and they were jumping everywhere, coming around and hitting us, and it was fun. It was different. They were real fun at that time, and now I call Bobby Wilson the carp guy, because Bobby inherited some of this thing, and now it's yours, Michael. But
yes, I know.
Yes, don't you? It does that to you and everything else. And David, you mentioned something earlier about, we're so focused on this carp situation. This has been, 3 or 4 years now we've been talking about this. And
oh, yeah.
But there's so much more going on in the fisheries division of Region 1 that we don't think about. You guys have done so many stocking programs, the winter trout program, but the river is what we talk about. Now,
yes.
High water, has this had any effect? Because I know we've had a lot of water, coming down. So talk a little bit about the river effects now.
Well, yeah, I mean, Mother Nature has dealt us a very wet spring so far.
Yeah.
And I just looked and got an update from TVA a little earlier that it's going to be, Preston, well above summer pool here in the next week or so.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
It tends to displace and somewhat interrupt spawning activity this time of year. I don't really know on the Asian carp whether I don't think it really affects them in any negative aspects.
Yeah.
But, it could potentially have some reproduction aspect or, results from our sport fish potentially.
Yeah. Well, and I know we've gone to the same crappie limit as Kentucky Lake in Kentucky. That doesn't seem to have had any, keep tourists away or anything along that line. But
no.
And that's a good thing. I get confused on all these. Anytime you can make them all more simple for us old folks, it is better. And Dave, talk a little bit about Michael and his duties. What is?
Well, it's they're coming up to the reservoir crew. A lot of people don't think, but they're out there on the water all the time collecting data. They're either with the shocking boats or trap nets or and they're looking at stuff all the time.
All the time.
And the trends and what they're looking at. It's the trends, what their data collects for the year class of fish. It's going to affect the fishermen next year or the year after that, or because the fish you're catching this year was set a couple of years ago.
Yes, that's
spawn.
true. Yeah,
so,
and that's why it's so why the 2-year-old class in this, and that's kind of the mystery thing, isn't it?
I thought it was kind of funny in wildlife and stuff. I said it's just the opposite. People's probably all heard about lemmings. When they overpopulate, they run and jump in the water. The carp, when they were, of course, they're overpopulating and starting, they're jumping out on the bank.
They're on the banks, yeah. And
so it's kind of strange.
Fishing strange. Tell the listeners a little bit of your background, Michael.
I graduated from University of Tennessee at Martin with a degree in wildlife biology back in 1999. A year or so later, I was fortunate enough to get hired into the streams program here in Region 1. I worked in the streams program, sort of worked my way up through the ranks, so to speak, for the first 16 years of my career. And then, like Dave mentioned earlier, I recently got promoted to the reservoir biologist.
Where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Perry County.
From Perry County. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Linden, that area, or?
Yeah. Originally, I was born and raised in Lobelville.
Oh, I know where that is. Yeah, on the Buffalo River.
Yes, sir.
In that area right there.
When Michael was a student up there at UT, I talked with him, and who was the young man that I did the video, helped y'all do the video for? What was his name? The guy
Andy Ford.
Andy Ford. And it was so funny. Michael came and Andy came to me. They had to do this project, kind of senior project, and they wanted to do a video. So I kind of did it. Okay. It was like Andy and Michael's summer vacation.
Oh, it was?
National Lampoon's.
Okay. Is that video still around?
I probably still got the.
You need to put that on YouTube then.
I still have a copy of it.
Uh-oh.
So it was kind of funny.
Okay. Well, we'll see that on LROutdoors.com. We'll try to post that on Michael and everything like that.
I appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Thank you, Michael. Let's talk as many times as we can. We'll stay in touch with you, okay?
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
All right, have a good one. All right, Michael.
So what's happening next week?
All right, here we go. Next week, Don King will be in studio, and we might try to get him to do the theme song. I better give him a word of warning so he can go back to the archives, because we've done this a long time ago. We're one of the few shows that has their own theme song, like at 2.5 minutes too. But also not just Don King. We're going to talk to. We're going to visit with two of the top professional bass anglers, and John Cox and John Murray. And John Murray will be down at Toledo Bend, where our own Ron Wong will be down there for a big media weekend, and he'll be right there with John Murray. John Butler, the president and head honcho at the Agri Center, will be in to talk about their fishing rodeo coming up on May the 20th. And, of course, John will bring his bodyguard, John Charles Wilson, the former president of the Agri Center, who's retired. I called out the other day, and John Charles answered the switchboard. I said, John Charles, you're retired. Well, you're out there answering the switchboard about that. But then, of course, John Gordon of Avery will be in studio. We got so many guests next week. It's going to be fun. And, of course, in about 2 more weeks, Frank Barton will come back in and give us a real report, right?
I sure hope so.
All right, we hope so. Third Saturday of the
in
month.
my prayers every night.
Thank you, Greg Ratcliffe, for taking care of us. Daryl and Daryl, thank y'all for. It's always good to look across and see y'all two here. Why don't y'all switch chairs next time?
It would confuse you.
It would really confuse me.
You couldn't say ornithology if
ornithology. I was ready for it. We'll try to get the Birdman back on. I want to get the Crow guy back. He was really good. There you go. I'm going to try to get him. You got any words of wisdom?
Words of wisdom. You know, the only thing about doing something right the first time, people don't appreciate how hard it was to begin with.
That is real deep. Yeah. I hate to end on that deep thought.
I kind of like the one where I ain't never see a dead crow on the road, because there's always one in the tree going, car.
What about it, Greg? You're wanting to say something, aren't you?
I had the rim shot ready for the joke.
Oh, he had the rim shot, and we didn't. That wasn't really a joke. That was.
No, that was good. That was good.
That was serious. I can't remember what he said, but it was real serious.
He was talking philosophy.
All right, we'll be back next week on Outdoors with Larry Ray, Lord willing. What I always say, it doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport, and God bless the USA.